Obviously you have to take your hat off to Coach Clausen. That is a fantastic win by his football team. Congratulations to them on being bowl eligible. We're extremely disappointed on our side of the locker room, so to speak, and we know that we have to do a lot better. Our effort needs to be a lot better than what we distributed or the way we played out there today. Disappointed. We have another opportunity next week. All our dreams are not dead, but we need to play a lot better than what we played today. Questions?
Dan, you're right.
Coach, overall takeaways from Zach Mahoney today, just what you could say about his level of play at this point.
I thought Zach battled with his skill sets out there to the best of his ability.
Nico?
Coach, you kind of mentioned it at the end of your opening statement there. As part of the message to the team, maybe not today, but going forward, that there is still things on the table for this team the rest of the way?
We're up on the cliff now. There's no more room for error. We need to go down there and to our next opponent who won today, and they've got fabulous players, and it's at their place, and we've got to find a way to get a win on the road.
Steven?
Now that we're kind of through the week here, was there genuinely a chance Eric was going to play this week, and when did you know he wasn't going to go?
Didn't know until right before game time. It was a game time decision, and well, in our family, the players have a lot of, excuse me for popping the P, our players have a lot to do with it also. The big thing is, we always want to make sure that's somebody else's son. I mean, we all want him to play, but it's somebody else's son, it's somebody else's son, and you want to make sure that he can defend himself out there. And just didn't feel like he was able to totally defend himself. So we'll see about next week.
Is that something he said to you, or just visually?
Well, some of that stuff is, some of that stuff's in the family. Together, we made that decision together.
What's kind of the approach going into this week with him?
Same thing. We need to keep getting treatment and keep watching him and seeing if he's able to go or not.
Matt?
Dino, 64
You guys
points
speak up
allowed.
a little bit. All that deep
64
math.
points allowed. More than 700 yards against. What did you see defensively, especially in that second half, that allowed them to get so much offense?
They did a good job with their RPOs. Quarterback is a shifty guy, fifth-year senior. He knows all the tricks, and I just thought the game he played was wow. I mean, you tell me about the last time you seen a quarterback play like, well, it's probably the guy we're about to play this week, isn't it? It's the last time I've seen a quarterback play like that against us.
What was the game plan going in against him?
Well, I think that the game plan going in is that you wanted to play more man, eliminate some of the deception. He's so good at making the ball disappear, and get him to just be our guy against their guy. But they had some very good matchups when we were playing man-to-man, and they took advantage of those matchups, and they were consistent about it.
Just to follow up on those zone reads, I mean, they got you on fourth down a couple times with it where, was it just a matter of an end not keeping contained? Was there an adjustment that you tried to make that the players didn't execute?
There's numerous adjustments. Sometimes it was man, sometimes it was zone. Obviously, the quarterback's reading all that stuff. Sometimes he pulls it, sometimes he gives it. Sometimes it's a pressure and it's a blitz, and then they pull it and they throw the pass to the tight end, which we saw a couple of times today. It's all part of it.
Can you spy on the zone read?
It's not necessarily a spy. It's almost what we used to call a sweat technique in the old day. You can not commit yourself but hold. But it's this. What the issue is that, okay, you have one guy handling the quarterback. Now that quarterback pulls the ball. Now can that one guy that's watching the quarterback actually tackle the quarterback? And that's the whole key to it.
Time for a couple more questions. Seth, in the middle.
Noticed Rex in at the end of the game. If Eric can't go next week, is Zach still the guy?
You know what? I thought that we're going to always look at what things that we need to do, but I thought that Zach played a good game. We had to use Rex for play. He jumped off the bench and used it. We're going to always evaluate, and we're going to always keep our options open. We're not going to decide on a Saturday night.
Just kind of looking back at last year and this year, Nate and I were talking about the quarterbacks you faced last year. I think 5 of those guys are in the league. This year, not quite that much. Obviously, Walford was very good. When you kind of assess your overall defensive growth How much of it do you think is your two stuff players getting better, and how much of it do you think is maybe not playing some of those guys you played last year?
I think it's not fair when you look at it that way. I think when you look at where guys were when the defense was completely healthy, you're looking at one defense. Now after game 10, with a team that doesn't have a lot of depth, you're looking at another type of defense. I got an opportunity, and I don't want to talk about anybody else, but I got an opportunity to watch a little bit of I want to say the North Carolina-Pittsburgh game. And I was just sitting at home trying to go to sleep, and I was watching a little bit of it, and I'm looking, we never played North Carolina, but I'm looking at the Pittsburgh defense, and I'm like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who's that guy? And how long ago was that? 4 weeks ago? 5 weeks ago? Help me. 5 weeks ago? And they're playing with a different defense. I think you need to tie that in when you say, hey, when you try to compare the numbers, it's who's healthy, who's not healthy. I keep talking about chess games and the matchups. And the matchups dictate what you can and cannot do. Sometimes the matchups are in your favor, and sometimes they're at a disadvantage.
Time for 2 more questions. Mark?
Hi, Coach. Zach had a really great first half. Second half, he was only 11 of 25. Was it a case of Wake Forest adjusting to him, or just what could you say happened in the second half?
You know, we're going to have to go back and look at the tape. 11 for 25 is not good. We need to find out if that was a wide receiver error or maybe, you know, the ball wasn't going in place where it should be going. But we have to go back and look at the tape. I can't remember all the throws.
Final question for Coach. Come on.
Dino, I just spoke with a few of the safeties, and they said the tempo that Wake Forest was running was giving them some issues on defense. That's what was giving the defense issues. Is that concerning to you, given that obviously you guys run a fast tempo on offense, and I imagine that they see it in practice a lot?
You know, when you're in the spring and you're in 2-a-days, okay, we go against our defense a lot. Well, during the week we do go against our defense, but they're getting ready for something else. They should be able to handle any tempo. I find it very hard to believe, and you guys can, Steven will do the math for us on time in it, but that anybody's faster than us. But they should be able to handle it a lot better than what they do.